Hey everybody, listening to us on here today. It's Jackie Brawls.
This is Dunlap.
And I tell you what, a lot of y'all who pay attention, listen on here, y'all know I's gone. Well, Dunlap's gone too. We both gone last weekend.
Yeah,
And
there were some in our absence.
it's amazing in that short amount of time when we come back to you now since last we talked to you, the world is a different place.
There were some.
It just ain't the same anymore.
Tragedy.
A lot of times we're concerned about this country, as we should be, as every responsible American citizen should be, but
Gotta be concerned about your country.
got to be concerned about your country. But now, with the way things are, for the first time in a long time, I'm worried about the whole world.
Not just America,
Not
but
just America, the whole world.
other parts of the world.
It ain't the same. Things ain't the same.
They'll never be the same again.
No, never. You can't go back.
It's like you cross a line, and you step over that line, and you're in a whole new world of danger and despair and
This is it.
misery.
This is it. I don't know if I want to live in the world we got now. You turn on the TV, turn on the radio. I'll tell you right now, I don't know if I want to live on it. In it, on it, anywhere near it.
Jackie, you can't talk like that. You can't be like
Well,
that. That ain't the way to think. You got to go on. Got to keep living. Well, you just going to ball up on the floor like a baby?
it don't make no damn difference if I did or I didn't.
Well, you can lay there on the floor like a baby all you want to, but it ain't going to change the way things are.
I don't care how things are. How things are, how things are. I'm tired of giving a damn. I'm tired of even trying anymore. You try to make the best of you can of things you see in the world, things you experience, and you try to just make the best of it and go on and just try to keep hope, try to sustain yourself just to keep sane in this world. And I ain't gonna do it no more. I give up.
Jackie, he was 81 years old.
I know.
He can't be around forever.
I know it, but it seems like he's going to be.
His music is. His music's around forever.
Well, somebody needs to tell the damn radio station that.
I wouldn't waste my time talking to a radio station.
I was in the truck on the way to work after I heard the news. And they said on radio, every country, supposedly country radio station, I heard of one song they played, and that was it.
Which one was it?
They played White Lightning.
That's a good one.
It was a good one. They all good. They should have been playing them all damn day on the radio.
People need to understand how important this is to Southerners and country music fans and
Worldwide.
right-minded, good-hearted individuals, no matter their color, creed, or nationality. I mean, this is George Jones dying. It's like a hillbilly holocaust. And you don't, not 6 million people, one.
Just one.
It's like 9/11, Boston, Newtown, all rolled into one. But worse, because George Jones is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had the picture, the Bush, George W. Bush Library opening. We couldn't even
I couldn't enjoy it. I was trying to. I thought, well, a little bright spot in the world to shine down. Just all this misery, all this terror, all this stuff going on. Bush Library opened. Well, that was a good day to be watching TV, and then you couldn't enjoy it. You couldn't enjoy it. Over with.
That's 5 presidents right there. This is like George Jones dying as if like all 5 of them presidents died. Because George Jones was president of country music.
Yep.
Drinking.
Yeah.
Pills.
Well. He did his share of things, but
entertainment.
Everything that man did, he did it the best that anybody else even tried to
just being kick-ass all around. President kick-ass.
Some of those things you ought not do. I ain't condoning some of that behavior, but by God, when George Jones did it, you couldn't outdo him.
They said if George Jones sung. Wait, they said if George Jones sung a song, it done been sung. You knew it been sung, something like that. I've been drunk pretty much since I heard the news.
Yeah, can't blame you for that.
But with drinking, I mean, it's kind of like that. Why even try to drink? Because you ain't gonna.
I got to stay drunk. I'll be honest right now. I've been whiskey drunk since I knew because I don't want to feel it.
But that's just to get by. You ain't gonna.
That's what it's just to get by. Yes, but let's admit right now that's what that man would want.
Of course,
he want every one of you out there drinking as much as you possibly can right now.
I don't care what he told Vestal Goodman. What he really wants is everybody up and down the roads. Drinking, driving, blasting. He stopped loving her today.
That's what that man would want.
I know he sang some gospel songs, and I'm sure he loved
You can
Jesus.
be drunk and sing a gospel song.
Sometimes.
I'll get drunk. I'm drunk right now. Amazing grace. You can do it. You can be drunk as all as you can be, and those words still mean the same to you.
You know Hank Williams is drunk doing Luca Drifter. Had to be.
Yeah.
Why would he come up with another name?
I don't know.
Let's just call me Luca Drifter on this one. What? Yeah, just write it on a reel. I'm going to be Luca damn Drifter. There's a lot in country music, a lot of ideas that would be considered bad in other kinds of music come out of people sitting around being drunk. Like suits, nudie suits.
Yeah.
That's not a sober idea.
No.
But now it's canon. So everybody, I don't want to put words in the mouth of the dead. But if you care about America, go get you a bottle of Jack Daniels or George Dickel and drain it. And then George Jones, looking down on you from heaven, will know you cared.
And wanting some.
Wanting it bad. That ain't even heaven to George Jones.
That man ain't no place. Heaven ain't even good enough for that man. I'll say it right now.
Best singer ever lived.
Ever lived.
Better than any of them.
Name one singer good as George Jones.
Opera.
Oh, hell.
I mean, not to me. But to like a snob.
That's a bunch of noise. Snob, listen to that. It's 4 words, 4 tugs, hollering. Stuff my ear, hurt my ears. I wouldn't listen to that.
Well, I always thought would be a good idea for a video would be a opera singer comes out, and then you think it's going to be opera, and everybody's like, oh, this is boring. Right when they go to change the channel, she takes off the disguise, and it's Lulu Roman.
Well, they put that big biking helmet on or something like that.
I think she dressed up like that on Hee Haw sometime.
Yeah, that's where I remember from.
But that's just laziness. Well, she's fat. Where does that helmet Somewhere back in there's a Viking helmet Lulu Roman wore in the storage closet at Channel 5 in Nashville.
Yeah.
Lulu Roman ain't no George Jones, though.
No, I love Lulu Roman to death. I say it right now. Love that woman. Bottom of my heart. But she ain't no George Jones. I'd give 8 Lulus, and that's a lot of women for one George Jones. Grim Reaper come knocking on the door. I said, take these 8 Lulus.
What would you feed them? Where would you keep them? 8 Lulu Romans. How do you even...
That's up to the Grim Reaper. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Are they, like...
If he dead, you don't eat no more.
Are they clones? Are they, like, sisters?
I don't know.
Like, what if Lulu Roman's mother had octuplets, and Lulu was one of a pack of 8? The Roman siblings, they'd call them. Here they come.
Yeah.
Down to the... I was going to say buffet, but it just sounded cheap.
I know they fat, yeah.
George Jones never got too fat.
No, sir.
You can look at all the different videos on YouTube and just tell what point of his life he's at. There's a few where he's got a little double chin.
That just come with age, just come.
And he gets older.
Hey, look, ain't nobody gonna tell me that man didn't look good for what he put himself through. There's people he put stuff through that look worse than that man ever did. Hey, up until we got that terrible news, that man looked good. Inhuman for his age.
And all he done. It's amazing he was alive.
I ain't 20-year-olds could do what he did and still be alive at 20, let alone 81.
He should have died 7, 8 times. At least. It was probably nightly. You were on tour with George Jones back like in the 70s. Like, every morning you probably wake up thinking, well, they're going to be coroners pushing George off on a cot, taking him to the funeral home.
No, sir. Every night, whoever worked with George Jones during that period of time, every night was a surprise. In more ways than one. He's still alive. Just listen to his voice every night's one.
That's a nice...
Yes, and that's one of the nice things, yeah.
But...
Or him knocking you upside the head with a
sword.
Yeah.
Where'd he get that sword?
Whatever's handy.
Surprise!
You didn't know what was coming.
That is a... Somebody ought to talk to some of these old-time Nashville people. Write a book called, like, The Unspoken Laws of Country Music. And if they did that, I guarantee you, in the top 10, if they numbered it, if they went by that, they could just do bullet points, probably number.
Yeah.
Top 10 would be, never let George Jones have a sword.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that.
I don't know what number 1 would be, Unspoken Law of Country Music.
It'd be something with him, though.
Yeah, maybe just George Jones.
Yep, that'd be it. Just his name.
I'm surprised he's not mentioned in the Bible.
Well, it's before his time. I'm sure if he was
George
Jones was living back in during Bible times, he'd be all in that book.
Ain't you ever heard of prophecy?
Well, I know about prophecy, but I don't. If he was living back in, I guarantee you.
I don't know much about Revelation, but he may be mentioned in Revelation just under some of them weird blood dream code words.
Well, I ain't no preacher, no Bible scholar, so I don't know for sure. He may be. He may be right.
If you believe in reincarnation, maybe George Jones was alive in the Bible time.
Oh, hell,
but in the Bible wouldn't be true, so it wouldn't make a difference.
I don't believe none of that.
Them people lived through all them times for no reason.
Yeah.
George Jones in Bible times would be good. Singing, serenading to the little baby
Why,
Jesus.
yeah. Jesus, take him. You know, here's the wedding's gone south. Everything's wrong here, Jesus. Here's some loaves, here's some fishes, and up on the stage, old possum entertain all the guests. That'd be a wedding you'd remember, let alone just magic fish and red wine. It'd be entertained up there.
Well, you got Jesus and George Jones at your wedding?
That's the
the
best
wedding of the year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
That's probably the two people that people say, who would you like to talk to? If anybody living or dead?
That'd be my top two right there.
Jesus and George Jones.
Yes, sir.
Is that a song?
Well,
Probably.
it ain't worth writing if he ain't here to sing it.
You get Travis Tritt to sing it.
Oh, well. Ain't the same thing.
No, there's nobody as good as George Jones.
No, sir.
Is George Jones better than Hank Williams?
I have to say he is. Hank Williams is like a Holy Ghost.
George Jones is Jesus?
George Jones, Jesus, God together.
So it's just two of them.
Yes, sir.
What about Jimmy Rogers?
Well, he like a favorite angel. That's a heaven I won't go to right there.
And there ain't no other singer you like as much as George Jones.
No, sir. No, sir.
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, hell.
I ain't see liking Frank Sinatra if you grew up like in Godfather 2. But if you're just a regular person,
That ain't my kind of music, no.
unless you're trying to suggest, you're making a movie, you want to suggest mafia ties. What's the point?
Yeah. I ain't gonna listen to it.
Flush it down the toilet for all I care.
Yep.
Who else is a good singer?
There's a lot of good singers, but ain't none of them good as George Jones.
Mariah Carey.
Oh, hell. Why
George Jones can't go up high like that, though.
Why he wouldn't? There ain't no need for anybody to go up high like that.
There ain't no emotions in the dog ear range.
No.
Emotions are down in the gravel
Down
whiskey
in
cigarette
there, yeah.
range.
Now come down from your gut.
I hope he made up with his daughter.
Well, if he didn't, he had his reasons.
It ain't our business.
It's not my business, but I'm taking George's side. I'll say that right now. She better not have a bad word to say about her daddy nowadays.
Is there any other side to take in George Jones' side?
Hell.
What about, tell me why that side. Ever take?
They worked out whatever it was.
They worked it
they
out.
had. They got back together. They had a rough time. George went through just rough times then. He made some good music, but
Rough times.
rough times.
Good music, rough times. That's another song. We should be writing these down.
Well,
They worked it all out.
and she, don't point the finger at George alone. Tammy wasn't it.
Well, we don't know the story.
I ain't saying she earned nothing or anything like that, or she asked for it. I'm just saying,
She
probably
did.
She's a handful. That's all I mean.
She did marry George Jones.
Well, they sang about it. They got married on record, on top of getting real married.
And they lived in a house, a real house, and on a radio.
Yep.
And then they got divorced on record
Yeah.
and in real life.
Yeah. King and Queen, country music right there.
What about Loretta Lynn?
I like Loretta Lynn. There's a difference between them two. Loretta Lynn, hillbilly girl, with no shoes wearing, up there in the,
Hit you.
it's up there in the woods throwing rock at you or whatever she did up there. But Tammy Wynette, like, she's from Trailer Park. She's from,
difference.
Yeah.
Middle class.
Middle class. Lower class, middle class.
Like Loretta Lynn, you be walking through the Smoky Mountains,
It's like Nail, that movie.
Right.
Jodie Foster, something like that.
she'll drop out of a tree on you.
See, I love her to death.
Take your eyeballs.
I love her to death. But I don't relate. I grew up in the country, but I wasn't,
You're not hill people.
I ain't.
Those are your relatives.
That's where she come from. Now she learned to talk, sing, and,
Count.
yeah.
Tammy Wynette, she had a little more money.
Not much more, but, she lived in a trailer park. That's got its own set of circumstances, hard living there.
Tammy Wynette did not eat bark.
No, sir, no.
But she would cook. She owned a casserole dish.
She had a casserole dish. She had an oven. She could cook. You didn't have an animal on a stick over fire.
She's not. Loretta Lynn's not a caveman. She's just from where? East Tennessee.
Way up there. You ain't. It ain't.
I don't even
just
know.
saying, ain't.
Wait, I was born a coal miner's daughter. Butcher Hollow. Where is that?
Butcher Hollow. That's up East Tennessee.
That's Tennessee. It ain't
That's
Kentucky,
way up,
right?
Yeah. But I think it's it's so close up there in the top. I don't hell.
Shit, we're gonna be in trouble. I don't even know why anybody would even focus on Loretta Lynn. She's still drawing breath.
Yeah.
We need to be focused.
That's just what say who had the harder life there. Tammy Wynette went through a lot. A lot she did on herself, a lot George put on her. Loretta Lynn from Tennessee.
Butcher Holler, Kentucky.
Ah, well.
Shit. Listen, before you write us and tell us we should have known that, why don't you take a second and remember George Jones?
That's right.
And think
My
about...
brain ain't think. You think I'm working who I know from where and who's this? George Jones ain't here no more. Before you get on there and holler at Dunlap or myself, just think about what we're going through and then think about what you should be going through.
Anybody that is sober enough to write an email to us reprimanding us for not knowing Loretta Lynn is from Kentucky is too sober in this national time of mourning.
Yes, sir.
Do you blame Obama, Jackie?
Well, how long ago was it George Jones got that Kennedy on her? Obama put that thing on him.
Ricin?
I don't know. Everything's funny about that man. I don't know.
I ain't going to get on here and Alex Jones it up and say
if
Obama did it.
If he wants America in submission, I'm just, now listen, here it's out. If he wants everybody just doing whatever he says, just out of their mind, you take away George Jones out of the equation, people are just a mess.
That's step one. Take away one of the bedrock foundations of this country.
Yeah.
People start panicking. Like you wanting to ball up on the floor. See, then when they come to take your guns and your George Jones record, you won't be in any shape to fight.
They better not come to get my guns in the shape I'm in. I sleep with my rifle. Every time I have a few drinks, I curl up to it.
What?
I get a few drinks in me. Not feeling so good, I curl up in my rifle.
Just to
Laying in bed with it.
Just to hold it?
Keep it near me.
Well,
You're just scared. The world just ain't the same anymore. I don't.
Jackie, I know this is we're all going through a lot. I just want to ask you one question. You can answer it or you cannot answer it. Do you kiss it?
Oh, hell, I don't kiss my damn gun.
Do you
Oh, hell.
rub up against
All right, enough.
You getting in bed, you drunk, getting in bed with your gun. That's dangerous. What if you...
You think I'm an old man sleeps with a gun in the bed? You think
You just said you're an old man who sleeps with a gun in the bed.
the only man. People sleep with a gun on their pillow all over the place.
But you're making it sound like I get a few drinks in me, it's late, I'm lonely.
No, not like that. Just alone scared.
Does the gun sleep on the pillow, have its own pillow?
I don't know. It's in the bed with me is all I'm saying.
What if you get all tangled up with it and it goes
I
off?
don't get tangled up with it. Hell.
Is this why? I mean, did you and Mrs. Brawls sleep together like straight up until she had her stroke?
Well, yeah, that's what man, woman. Ain't no your business.
Well, sometimes people get older.
She sleeps better in her chair now. That's all it is. She's right there beside me, just in a chair, sit up. She likes to sleep that way. I try to pick her up, put her in the bed. She's screaming, holler. I just leave her in that chair.
Do you ever put on a sexy gun show for
All
her?
right, enough. Why even? Can you just give me some peace today? Can you just I don't know when I'm gonna recover from this. I don't know.
We ought to go like FM, take over a radio station, kick in a door, and force them to play nothing but George Jones. And even better, we ought to go to one of them stations that just plays Pitbull. And I'll just plug my phone in and we'll just George Jones it up.
I don't even know what it is, but I know it ain't good.
Pitbull?
What?
I'd party with Pitbull.
I don't know who that is. That bald-headed man dancing around you show. I don't like that. I don't like rap. I don't like it.
He got a lot of nice suits. Hey, you just talk about partying and having a good time.
All right, George Jones is dead. I don't want to talk about Pitbull.
It's just two different things. I ain't saying Pitbull's as good as George Jones or good at all. I'm just saying sometimes you in the club, Pitbull comes on and like, hey, let's get down here and
I ain't going to be in no club.
show you how I do my dance.
All right. I don't want to talk about it.
My special Pitbull dance. You can't, I will say this. This is the only thing negative I can possibly come up with against George Jones. If you in the club and you put on the window up above, you ain't going to feel the dance floor.
All right, it ain't for clubs.
It's for lonely. It's for driving back
sitting,
roads.
Yeah. By yourself. You don't want nobody else around when you listen to George Jones. It's just you and him.
It's for remodeled basement rec rooms with paneling. Where's Daddy? Oh, he's down there. The lights are off. Well, he's playing that George Jones. Yep. Drinking. Yep. I am what I am.
There you go.
You wouldn't do that. Where's Daddy? He's down there listening to Pitbull.
No, sir. No. If he is, something wrong with him.
Where's Daddy? He's sitting in the driveway in his truck with a fifth of Jim Beam listening to George Jones.
No.
Not, where's Daddy? I hear Pitbull blaring. He must be out in the carport.
No.
I hope George Jones is okay.
What?
I hope he knows that he left this world a better place.
Why wouldn't it be okay? Don't say things like that.
Well, I mean, no one really knows what happens when we cross over to the other side.
Well, I believe in them pearly gates, and I don't know why. I mean, there'd be a few marks against him when he goes up there.
Sure.
There'll be a few marks against everybody. Ain't nobody perfect. That's what Jesus said a long time ago. Now, George Jones may have a few more marks than some people, but he led a good life, and he brought a lot of joy, you know, in a way where you experience misery through his music, but he brought joy to this world. You got to take that into account. And he's on in there now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when who is it? Who's the angel that sits up by the gates that all the political cartoonists draw? Is that St. Peter?
St. Peter.
I mean, George Jones's book may be thick, but the end, when they equal it all out, he's going to come out on the good side.
It could have been every worst thing he did, a thick book, a horrible thing, and then the last thing written in it, oh, you saying he stopped loving her today?
Come on in.
Get on in here. Right now, sir.
Really, they could just read his autobiography. Kind of make a judgment on that.
Yeah.
They said he was 10 years sober. I keep hearing that on the news. But wasn't he? How long has he been sober? Do he have little relapses?
Who knows?
Like he's been supposed to be pretty sober for a long time.
Who knows?
Somebody knows. I want to know.
There ain't nothing wrong if he wasn't. If George needed to sip every now and then, I say that last wife of his, she
Whipped him in shape.
straightened him out or whatever, took care of him.
When he run in that bridge,
Well,
he was
drunk.
sober.
He drunk as hell then, wasn't he?
Well, he said he's looking at his phone or he playing a CD for somebody or something.
Well,
I mean, that's a good cover story.
I'll just take his word for it and wink back at him. At the time, is that time they took his car and strung it up? What time was that? He's drunk in.
Or was that, maybe it was, over a long was that George Jones's car?
That's George Jones' car. Whose car you think it was? They wouldn't take anybody's car
Some
and string
idiot's
it up.
car. I didn't know.
No, that's George Jones' car.
Well, that should be a holy place.
Well, they took it down.
You used to have to
They
pull
shouldn't
your
have.
shoes off when you pass by it on the interstate. They
Yes,
used
sir.
to be for a long time on the interstate, I-24. Where was that? Like Smyrna?
No, it wasn't in Smyrna. It's Nashville. They had his old beat-up car he strung up. Now, take a look at that, So, he took something bad that he did and made good out of it. Like, I was drunk as hell and I did this. Just keep in mind what can happen. Everybody look.
Look.
Yeah.
He made sausage.
Oh, yeah, dog food, sausage.
He had that talk show on Nashville Network.
George Jones Show, yes,
Probably
sir.
the best TV show ever made.
That one didn't have Puppet Red. Shotgun Red wasn't on George Jones, was
Let me tell you, if Shotgun Red showed up to the George Jones show, George Jones would have kicked
He
that
wouldn't have
puppet's
tolerated
ass.
it. He wouldn't have tolerated that. Ralph Emery put up with anything. Ralph Emery sat there.
Ralph Emery, a fucking pussy.
I
George
know,
Jones.
Yeah, watch your language, but yeah.
George Jones, a puppet shows up, here comes the pistol.
He ain't going to tolerate that talking to him. He's sitting there trying to sing or talk to Dottie West or something. The puppet interrupt in the middle of that is over with.
It's serious business, George Jones show. I mean, he tried his best to make it light and airy.
Sure.
But it's serious. You're talking to George Jones.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fun is happening.
You don't.
It's grave.
You talking to George Jones? You talking to George Jones? You talking to Ralph Emery? Is there any weight to that conversation? Do you even care what you saying to him? He got a little puppet there beside him. Nothing against Shotgun Red. He's good in his place.
We love Shotgun Red.
I like Shotgun Red just fine. I don't mean to, but George Jones wouldn't put up with it.
He did make a record with Johnny Paycheck,
Well, yeah,
but that was 70s.
yeah, 70s.
Anything was possible back
Well,
then.
yeah.
Maybe back in he would have had Shotgun Red do
He
it.
wouldn't have known. He probably thought he was having a vision or something, laughing.
He wouldn't have known. You could be a puppet, person, didn't matter. He's going through your pocket for pills.
You know,
But after he stopped loving her today, everything changed.
yes, sir.
Pretty much.
That was
Slowly.
like where he just got to a point where how I can't get no better than this. Good Lord, what do you people want from me? Here's the greatest song ever written. I'm gonna sing it best it's ever been sung. After it won 2 damn years in a row, Country Music Award. They had to give an award in the second year. Like, who we get that? Hell, I ain't give that one again. Ain't no song better than that. As far as I'm concerned, it should have won every damn year since then.
What do you do after you do the best thing ever?
Well,
and you still have like half your life left?
Hell, George Jones show.
George Jones
That's,
show.
you know, he
did
branched out. I can't do a song better than this. I'll take over Johnny Carson.
Man, he should have too.
Well,
he would have whipped that show into shape.
Yes, sir. Toward the end there, Johnny, and I like Johnny Carson. I used to. Toward the end, he wasn't making no sense anymore.
Well, Johnny Carson went off in 92.
Yeah.
And when was the George Jones show? Like 98? Something like that?
It's a few years later, I guess, yeah.
Oh, he should have just... At least Carson Daly. I mean, he could have at least taken over.
If you're going to give Pat Sajak a damn show, give George Jones a show. Hell, who thought of that? I don't understand TV. I don't understand radio. George Jones should have been on all of it all the time.
Didn't George Jones have some bottled water, too?
He had some bottled water, yes, sir.
They had water, dog food, and sausage.
Water come from a stream out behind his house.
He just went out there
Yeah.
with some empty bottles?
He filled it up.
Himself?
Yeah, so I got me an idea. Look at here.
Did he make that sausage?
Made that sausage himself, put his name on it, and a dog food, too. I think he had help with the dog
How
food.
the hell do you even make dog food?
A man was genius. Everybody, he was the greatest singer ever lived, but a man of many talents, television personality.
He like
dog
George
food.
Washington Carver.
Ain't something, all of it. Had a stream out back, got the water from, made that sausage, had hogs on his farm.
He killed the hogs. Well, he wore himself out. No wonder he died.
Still lived 81 years old.
Sing the greatest song ever made.
Yep.
At 81 years old, making sausage.
Yes, sir.
Filling up down on his hands and knees in the backyard in Franklin with empty plastic bottles. Nancy hot gluing labels to it.
Yep. Drive it into town. Got some more water, boys.
He loved to drive. He looked nothing more natural than seeing George Jones in a truck, short sleeve shirt, button up,
Yep.
his arm hanging out the window.
There he was. Yes, sir.
He looked good, natural, like he was in his place. Maybe if you are a bridge, you wouldn't agree with it.
Well,
There's two places he looked good. On stage,
in a truck.
in a truck. That's when he looked his best. He always looked good.
Always look good no matter what he's doing.
Covering that hog blood didn't matter. George Jones, he should be on Mount Rushmore.
Well,
How do you get a petition
as
going?
far
for
as
that?
I'm concerned, he's better than all them on there, except maybe George Washington. You just cut the rest of
Which
them
presidents is he better? Is he better than Abraham Lincoln?
off. Oh, hell. Come on now.
So he's better than George W. Bush?
Well, I hate to say it. I don't know offense to George, but George, better, yeah.
As far as I know, George W. Bush can't sing.
No, sir.
I'm just guessing this. I bet they both give people a lot of nicknames over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet that's something that they would share. One quality they'd share, they'd be real good at, yeah.
He better than Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan was an actor. George Jones was a singer. Which one I don't have to say it out loud. Which one was better at what they did?
Did George Jones ever act in anything other than like country music videos when he's on a lawnmower?
Oh, he didn't have time at me. Some people, That's standing around acting like everybody you hear stories. You just sit around waiting for them, get the camera right, the lights right, all this stuff. George Jones ain't going to stand around. They got water to get home. They got hogs to kill. They got dog food to make.
Because there was a lot of, in the 70s, if you were popular at all, you got a variety show. They never give George Jones a variety show, did they?
He had George Jones' show as a talk show. You just go in there.
But that was later.
Right. You just sit down and have a conversation. Well, during that time, I don't know.
He didn't have a Glenn Campbell variety good time show.
No.
Johnny Cash had a show. Jerry Reed, they tried to give him a show.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Porter Wagner had a show.
I'm sure they approached old George Jones, just wasn't interested.
Good.
Yeah.
Who had the last laugh? Porter Wagner up there talking Spick Rhodes.
Yeah. We ain't got lots of video of George Jones looking like an idiot like the rest of them.
Nope.
They knew better.
Nope. None of them are.
You get on YouTube, look at AM on there, kids point and laugh at you. It's that.
George Jones ain't in no sketches with Charo. Not a one.
Never wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do it. Charo, Shotgun Red, none of that foolishness.
No, sir. He didn't have time for that.
Get on stage.
Now, on his show, he just had a conversation. It'd be just like going down to your watering hole talking to whoever you want to. Like when he did have a TV show, instead of going to the bar, bless his heart, he wasn't drinking that time. They said, why don't you go here and talk to your buddies?
But instead of a bar, it's like nice couches. So it's kind of like going to his living room.
Well, yeah, just kind of walking in there and who's here today? He sit there and talk to him, that's it. 30 minutes, an hour later, he'd go back out, get as many other projects he's working on.
Yeah, you just go in there and sit. I think they'd sing like, "Well, Pam Tillis, how are you?"
Yeah.
And then got to go make a dog food.
Yeah.
It's a mysterious process.
It's a multi-talented man.
George Jones seems more like the kind of guy that'd feed dogs by just throwing out the sliding glass door, whatever's left on his plate.
Well, I'm sure he did that too. I think that's how he got the idea
Well,
to make a food.
Put this in a bag.
There you go. He had somebody help him figure out how to dry it up or whatever, put it in chunks. But essentially, I think that's how it came about.
Huh.
People going to pay me for my scraps.
So dogs, you go to Sam's Club, pick up a bag of this George Jones dog food. What you're feeding your dog is just freeze-dried George Jones table scraps?
I think that's what I heard.
Shit, I may want to eat some of that.
Well,
I got to get a Sam's Club card. Well, I can't wait to hear Obama come out and talk about George Jones.
Well, it's about time. I know.
He needs to do it.
He talked about Boston. He talked about Newtown. He
went to Texas.
Texas.
Not that those things are not horrible.
Well, I'm waiting for him to come here, Tennessee, go to Nashville, and let's hear country music. Music City. Let me hear you talk. We're waiting.
Well, we don't really want that to
happen. Hell no, I don't want to hear.
We're just saying.
Hell no, I ain't going to listen to it. What'd be the worst thing in the world is Obama talking about George Jones.
That would be the worst thing in the world. Well, there's no way he could say anything that wouldn't make him sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's bad enough hearing him talk about Jay-Z. That doesn't even sound right.
I know it. And they're friends.
They're best friends.
Yeah.
They go to Cuba together all the time.
Yeah. Vacation down there.
Well, folks, I hope you got to do some healing here with us today.
Well, it's going to be a while before I heal. I hope I'm able. I'm sorry, whoever listens to this.
I want to try to be inspiring and give you something to live for, but maybe this is that time when we all just need to vent. Maybe it's going to make you feel better just to hear the outpouring of raw emotion.
Yeah. And make sure you get you a drink. Get you a bottle of something.
Get a bottle.
This ain't beer time. No, don't go get you.
No, we're past beer time.
Well.
Maybe when they first said that something's wrong with Daddy, that's beer time.
Yeah.
We're whiskey time,
Yes, sir.
at least.
George up in heaven looking down. You better be drinking.
If you know somebody from college who could score you some Coke or some pills,
All right.
you might want to call them up.
All right.
Not
No.
every day, but this is a special occasion. Look, nobody was judging anybody's behavior on 9/11, was they?
No, but let's just make it a drinking occasion. Why you got to bring all that else into it? I know, Possum, I know he did his fair share of everything, but
All right.
listen, he'll be happy enough if you just get you a bottle. And show some respect. Get your ass drunk.
And listen, don't get drunk and listen to some shit on the radio.
Turn the radios off. If a radio ain't gonna give us what we need or what they should be doing, if they ain't got no damn respect,
If you're going to get drunk and listen to Brad Paisley, you might as well stay sober. You get drunk and you go to Walmart and get a George Jones record.
yes, sir.
Or you do whatever you do to get George Jones record. I don't know where they sell music anymore. Whatever you do to get music, you do it, and you get it George Jones way.
Yes, sir.
Put on that George Jones.
Don't matter what era, don't matter what kind, it's all good. Anything George Jones is good.
Crew cut, weird silver page boy, and sideburns.
Yeah.
Whatever was happening the last few years, it don't matter. It's all good.
He kind of covered all the eras. He's got a song. He got that classic song for every, early days. Got old White Lightning, Love Bug.
Love Bug's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Old King Kong.
Okay, Kong. Him and King and Queen got together. Him and Tammy Wynette together. There's an era where they,
Ain't no better country duet
Yeah,
ever.
that's it. That's the best.
it. That's the one.
That's right.
Golden Ring.
Golden Ring, yeah. He stopped loving today. We already mentioned that, That's the 80s right there. That was the pinnacle. And, some people say it's downhill from there, but no, he kept going. High-tech redneck.
Sure.
That's where everybody watched Terminator.
So get tonight, go out and rent you the Terminator. Put on
Crank
high-tech
up
redneck.
High-tech redneck and get drunk as hell.
Hell, I don't give a shit. Listen to Beer Run with Garth Brooks. That's pretty good,
That's
actually.
not bad.
I don't need your rocking chair.
I like that one. Choices.
Choices. Man. You
We
got
did-
Jesus songs. You want to listen to some gospel songs? Don't listen to some preachy, high and mighty Southern gospel quartet. Don't listen to the fucking whites.
Hey.
Get George Jones. He knew what sin was.
Yes, sir.
Not like sin, like, well, I sure covet my neighbor's lawnmower.
No, sir.
He knew sin, actual sin.
He knew the deepest, darkest, most depraved is when he's asking the Lord for forgiveness. Oh, he means it.
Usually when you ask Jesus to you come in your heart, forgive you, Jesus like, oh, I've been waiting for you to say that. George Jones asked Jesus to forgive him. Jesus had to take a second. Jesus had to think it over. It took
Caught
something
him-
out of Jesus.
Caught him off guard.
The lights, when Jesus forgave George Jones, the lights in heaven dimmed because there was so much power being used.
Now he's up there with him.
Now he's up there with him and everything's okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So listen to a Jesus song, listen to a White Lightning, The Door.
We're not the jet set.
Well, you just name songs, but we probably stop doing that.
Well,
It's really, you can get on computers, read a list of George Jones songs while you listen to a podcast that's doing it. You have another one you want to name out?
They're all good. All of them.
So, we didn't really talk much about Boston.
Nope.
We didn't talk much about the presidents
Nope.
getting together.
I wanted to come on here. I was excited. I like doing that. For the first time, I was like, I'm looking forward to do one of these. I opened the Bush Library.
Plus, we get to hate Russians. We get to hate Muslims together.
All of it combined.
America come together. We caught them, unless it was just a dry run for martial law so that Obama can declare himself king.
False flag. I don't know.
False flag.
I don't know.
But I tell you what's not a false flag, George Jones.
Putting him in the ground.
Is it?
What?
What if, Jackie, your theory that Obama just wants to dishearten the country so he can sweep through it, taking our guns and our Bibles? What if George Jones didn't die? What if Obama's just got him in the basement of the White House or something?
Oh.
What if he's still alive?
I don't know about that. What, you just holding him captive? Because George Jones ain't going to play along with that. He wouldn't do that.
He's 81 years old. You sick enough of him?
He's
brown shirts on him. Haul him out of there. He in that. You sneak up on him in there making that sausage.
Why the hell would Obama won't keep him down there if he just killed him? That theory don't make sense. Yeah, I ain't saying I ain't putting it past Obama to do something to hurt old Possum, but to hold on to him, that just costs more money to keep him alive. That don't make no sense. You follow some of these conspiracy theories down the
well, let me ask you
rabbit hole. It don't.
What makes sense, Jackie? Does it make sense that George Jones died of natural causes? Or does it make more sense that you can't kill George Jones? He is immortal. The only way Obama can take him out is by locking him in a glass cube in the basement of the White House like Hannibal Lecter. Maybe George Jones is more than just a man. Maybe he's the enduring spirit of freedom and southernness and what it means to be a redneck American man with a gun and a bottle and a Bible and a loving wife with real emotions and darkness in the pit of your black heart and still a chance at redemption before it's all said and done. A John Galty reaching out and giving something to people, but being left alone. Travel your own curvy roads before winding up in a place of bright light and happiness and freedom. Maybe George Jones can't be killed because he's not a man. He's just a symbol. Something to strive for. Something that can't be stamped out under Obama's gross boot.
What?
I'm saying we need to go White House and sneak in the basement and just check. Do they still give him tours?
Let me get my shoes on. Hey.
Do you need help?
Yeah, I can't get up. All right.
Just lay there. I'll put them on for you.
All right.
God damn, get some odor eaters or something.
I'll put my shoes on.
Well, I've come here to tell you folks I'm ragged, but I'm right. I'm a tramp and a rounder. I stay out late at night. A porterhouse steak 3 times a day for my board. That's more than any loafer